Okay, this is Matt, and this is interview for series number 2. Okay, first question, what do you think happens after we die?
What do I think happens after we die? I think that our bodies stay here, but our souls go somewhere else, whether that be heaven or hell, or some sort of other realm. I don't think that we kind of just cease to exist.
Okay, where does that belief come from?
That comes from my faith as a Christian. I believe in heaven and that I'll be, going to heaven when I pass. Obviously, that's how I kind of live my life. Yeah, is that
Yeah, that's
okay?
great. How do you get into them? Like, how do you get into heaven?
How do I
and
get
how
into
do you get
heaven?
into hell?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think that like I do anything to get into heaven. I think my ticket to heaven was paid for by Jesus on the cross. I don't know if there's like multiple different ways that you can like get into hell. Like people have different viewpoints on that, but I really think that ultimately if you don't believe in your heart, like Romans 10 through 10 says, if you don't believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, then you won't get into heaven. That's kind of, my belief on that.
Great. Do you have any thoughts about what heaven and what hell look like? Like if you can talk to people who don't speak your language, if you are going to see your pets or
Okay.
anything like that?
Yeah. Okay, so I have like two views on what heaven could look like. I think it could be like a constant awe of God where we're just like constantly in awe of who he is and whether or not we like recognize each other or like know each other, because his presence is just so overwhelming that that's all we really care about. But I could also see it very much being like a perfected earth where there's, no suffering, no pain, and we have jobs and like tasks to carry out for the Lord. I know that he, throughout Scripture, works with people and wants to continue to work with us. So I think that it could go either way. I'd be happy with either one. Hell, I don't know. There's what it could look like. What I kind of want to believe is that hell isn't like an eternal suffering, like it's not daily, like just sitting in a fire. Like it's more of, hey, you didn't proclaim Jesus as Lord, and so your kind of life is over. So like your soul doesn't really go anywhere. You just kind of cease to exist, per se. But I don't know. I want to be a universalist as well and think that everybody's going to make it to heaven. I don't know.
Okay, great. And then how does your belief in an afterlife affect the way that you live your life?
That's a good question. I think that my belief that I'm going to get into heaven affects the way I live my life, because I know it affects my life in a good way, because I know that anything that I suffer through, or like the highest of highs here and the lowest of lows, are the highest of highs and lowest of lows of this life. Like the highest I'll ever get is the lowest of heaven, and so I think that I kind of have like this hope and just this knowing of, hey, everything is ultimately not in my control, and so I'm just striving to build a kingdom for myself in the afterlife, rather than here. That makes sense.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thanks, Matt.
No problem.